Hey everyone, welcome back to the E-Trade tutorial series. In today's video, we'll be hopping into the Power Etrade Mobile App and learning how to buy and sell options in there. Now don't worry, I am going to go through several different examples just so you guys get the hang of it, and we'll be doing this on both single leg calls and puts, as well as touching on spreads later in the video. Now jumping right into it, in order to actually access an option chain in this app, we do need to come down to the bottom and click on the little quotes tab. It looks like a big triangle icon. From there, you will see a few different stock tickers pop up like Coin, Facebook, and Microsoft. Those are just recently viewed stocks in my account. And if we wanted to pull one up, we could simply click on it, or we could click on the little search box up in the upper right. And that's what we're going to do in this case. As soon as we click on that, it brings us to a separate window where we can actually pull up the stock that we want to pull up. In our case, let's say we wanted to look at, Twitter for some reason, TWTR, and we'll click on it at the very top there. As soon as we do, we can see it takes us to a Twitter stock profile page. We can see a little chart for the company up at the top. We can see some basic price information. And if we scroll down, we can see some relevant fundamental data about the company as well. Now that's obviously some good info to know about the company, but for today's video, we actually want to look at the very top and find the options tab up there. It's the third tab at the top. As soon as we click on that, you will see the option chain open up for Twitter. And at the very top there, we can see all of the different expiration dates that are available to us. There you're going to see February 25th, March 4th, March 11th, March of 2022. And if we scroll our finger to the left, you're going to see there are a lot more available expirations up there at the top. If we scroll back over to the far left-hand side, you'll notice the only one that's highlighted currently is February 25th. And that's because that is the only one we currently have visible down here below. If I wanted to look at an additional expiration that's available, I could click on March 4th. And now if I scroll down, I will also see all of the options that are available for March 4th. You'll also notice there on the top left-hand corner, it not only tells us the date of expiration, but in parentheses, it tells us the number of days until expiration as well. So in the case of March 4th, that is 8 days from today. Looking to the right, you'll also notice the implied volatility for that expiration is 60.99%. And then for February 25th, it's 76%. If we scroll down here, you're going to see all of the different strikes that are available. Looking at the top there, the $29 strike, $29.50, $30, $30.5, and a whole lot more. But let's say we wanted to clean that up a little bit. We are seeing a whole lot of strikes here. Let's say we wanted to minimize that just a little. Well, what we could do is come up here to the little settings button. Looks like a little gear icon towards the top of the option chain. From there, it's going to open up the chain settings box. And the very first one there says number of strikes. And currently it says 20. Let's say we wanted to drop that down just a little bit. We only want to see 10 at a time. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that and change it to 10 right here. Now that I'm happy with that, we'll go ahead and hit done. And I'm going to exit out of the chain settings menu. Now that we did that, we can see there are a whole lot less strikes visible down here below. There's only 10 now for both the February 25th expiration and the March 4th expiration. You'll also notice the columns up here at the very top currently saying mark, bid, and ask. Well, if we actually click on one of those headers there, like the call header or the put header, if we click on that, it will expand it and we can see all of the available columns there on the call side. So there you can see I also have columns for implied volatility, open interest, volume, and mark. If I wanted to change that, just like before, I would click on the little settings button, little gear icon. Once I've got the chain settings menu pulled up, we're actually going to go down to the column selection menu and go ahead and click on that. From there, you can then see all of the visible columns up there at the top. So the ones we currently see, like mark, volume, and open interest. And looking down below, we can also see all of the hidden columns. So the columns that are available to us if we wanted to see those. In my case, let's say I wanted to change mine a little bit. I wanted to get rid of mark, I wanted to get rid of open interest, and I wanted to get rid of mark change. Instead, I wanted to replace that with the theta and vega for each one of those strikes. Now scrolling back up to the top, I can see all of my visible columns here: volume, implied volatility, bid size, and ask size. If I wanted to move those around a little bit, like let's say I wanted volume to be at the end, I can just click, hold down, and drag it down to the bottom below Vega. Now that I'm happy with that, everything looks good. We'll go ahead and hit the X button in the upper left and hit X one more time. From there, you can then see that the columns have been adjusted. I'm now looking at the delta, ask size, bid size, and the implied volatility for each one of those strikes. If I wanted to see those other columns that I added that I can't currently see, I could always put my finger up there next to delta or ask size and drag it to the right. You'll then see the other columns that we have in there. If I wanted to go back to the view of both the calls and the puts, all I have to do is click on the word calls up there again. And now I can see both the put and the calls. Now, it may also be hard to see, but the in-the-money options have kind of a light shading to them or a highlighting to them, whereas the out-of-the-money options have a more dark background, but it's kind of hard to differentiate. Now, I think we did a good job of breaking down exactly how to customize this thing a little bit and kind of what all these numbers mean. So let's actually dive into how to both buy and sell options in this platform. To do that, it's actually a lot easier than it might seem. Whenever you want to buy an option, you're going to click on the asking price. Whenever you want to sell an option, you're going to click on the bid price. So let's say for this first example, we were bullish on Twitter. We thought Twitter was going to rise in the coming months and we wanted to bet on that. Well, to do that, we're going to be looking at the call options in this first example. And let's say we were looking at the $34 calls and those looked appealing to us. Looking there, we can see the $34 calls are going for 35 cents by 40 cents. And since we want to buy this option, we're going to click on the current asking price of 40 cents. As soon as we do that, you can see that that option gets highlighted in green, telling us we're about to buy that options contract. Up at the very top, you'll also notice that it does tell us what options we currently have selected. So right there, it's telling us we've got the February 25th of 2022 option selected, and it is the 34 strike option. Up there, you can also see the bid and the ask for that option we have selected. And again, you're only going to look at the left-hand side. The right-hand side is for the put side. But if we were happy with that, we only wanted to buy the $34 call. All we would have to do next is look at the trade button at the bottom right-hand corner. You'll notice it's got a little purple one next to it telling us that we've got a trade built out. So we're going to go ahead and click on that. From there, it just lists out an order ticket of exactly what we're about to do. Looking from top to bottom, it says we're about to buy one of the February 25th $34 calls. There we can see the current bid and asking price for that call is 36 cents by 40 cents. Right now, it says we're only going to buy one contract. It says we're using a limit order and we're placing that at 38 cents or better, and that order ticket is just good for the day. If you wanted to change any of these things, all you'd have to do is click on the thing you want to change and then type in what you want to change it to. So in the case of the quantity, let's say we wanted to bump this up instead of being one contract, we wanted to bump that up to 5 contracts. We'll just hit the plus sign there a few times. Let's also say we didn't want to spend 38 cents for this thing. We only wanted to buy it if it dropped down to, let's say 20 cents. We'll go ahead and type in 0.20 here. And now that I'm happy with that, we'll go ahead and hit done. And then finally, let's say I wanted this order ticket good until canceled. So I'm going to click on the word day there and change it to GTC, which is good until canceled. But that's just about it. We've got the order ticket filled out exactly the way we like it. We're about to buy 5 contracts of the February 25th $34 calls, and we only want to spend 20 cents a contract for them. You can see there down below that the estimated total is going to be $100 because that's going to be 20 cents or $20 times 5 contracts. If we actually wanted to place this order, we would simply come down to preview, the little purple button in the lower right-hand corner, and go ahead and click on that. From there, it gives us a little order confirmation, just confirming everything that we already filled out on the previous screen. But if everything looks right, we're just going to hit send order down below. From there, you can see it takes us right to the order confirmation screen saying that the order has been sent. And in our case, we're just going to exit out of this. Now, if you wanted to check on the status of that order or maybe even just cancel the order or modify it in some way, the way that you could do that is by going to the menu button in the lower right-hand corner. Looks like 3 little dots. From there, we're going to find the orders tab. So right there, you can see it right there in our list. We're going to go ahead and click on that. And from there, we can see all of our open, canceled, or filled orders for the day. In the case of Twitter, we can see it right up there at the very top. We still have it as an open order, so it has not filled yet. And if you wanted to modify it, you can see right there, it says swipe left on order to modify. So that's what we're going to do in this one. We're going to go ahead and swipe left on it. And right there, it gives us 3 options to either modify the order, so basically change it in some way. We can copy the order if we want to duplicate it, or we can just outright cancel the order. In this example, let's say I just wanted to outright cancel it. So what I'm going to do is just hit cancel here and confirm that I do want to cancel the order. You can then see that it flips over from an open order to a cancel order, telling us that it's no longer trying to get us these Twitter call options. Now, moving on from that, let's say I next wanted to buy put options instead, and we're going to flip from Twitter to, let's say, Square. So I'm going to come down to the quotes page again, the little triangle icon. From there, I'm going to come up to the search box, and in the enter symbol box, I'm going to type in SQ for Square, and they actually recently changed their name to Block, but I'm going to go ahead and click on that, Block Incorporated. From there, we can look at the top and see that it has flipped over to Square, and the stock is currently trading for $87.73, and I do have an option chain opened up down below for the February 25th expiration. If I instead wanted to buy puts for the March of 2022 expiration, I'm going to go ahead and unselect February 25th, and then instead click on March 22nd here. And now that I've got the March of 2022 options, I can see that those expire in 22 days from today, and they've got an implied volatility of 115%. If in this example I was bearish on Square, I thought Square was going to go down, we're going to look on the put side, which is the right-hand column. From there, I was looking at these puts and I looked at the 75 as the ones that looked appealing to me, and I can see there that they're going for 460 by 480. If I wanted to buy this put option, betting on it going down in value, I'm going to go ahead and click on the asking price, $4.80. From there, just like before, you can see it gets highlighted in green, telling us we're about to buy this put option, and it moves up to the selected options window up at the top. Just like before, if I actually wanted to place this trade, I would come down here to the trade button where it's got a little purple one next to it and go ahead and click on that. From there, it then lists out exactly what we're about to do from top to bottom. We're about to buy one of the March 2022 $75 puts. We're about to buy one of them with a limit order of $4.45, good for the day. And just like before, you would edit this as necessary, change whatever you wanted to change. Moving on from that, if I instead wanted to sell that option, let's say I was actually neutral to bullish on Square, and I instead wanted to sell the $75 put, all I would have to do is first off unselect the asking price of that $75 put, and instead I'm going to click on the bid price of the $75 put, which is currently $4.55. As soon as I click on it, you can see that it does get highlighted in red, telling us that we're about to sell this put option. And if I wanted to submit it, we would simply hit trade down below, just like before. From there, it then tells us we're about to sell one of the March $75 puts. We're doing so for a $4.40 credit, and it's good for the day. If we actually wanted to place this, just like before, just hit preview order and send the order ticket out there. But I think you guys get the idea of buying and selling single leg options in here. It's actually pretty easy. Click on the ask of the option you want to buy, the bid of the option you want to sell, adjust the order ticket as necessary, and send it. Now, moving on from that into spreads, and we're just going to touch on this a little bit. It's actually a lot easier than it might look. So let's go ahead and back out of this and unselect the option. From there, let's say you actually wanted to sell a put spread against Square, so a vertical put spread. One way we could do that is by simply clicking on the bid and the ask of the options we want to both buy and sell, but we're going to be doing it simultaneously. So let's say for this first example, we wanted to sell the $80 put. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the bid of the $80 put, $6.25. From there, you can see it gets moved up to the top as a selected option, and we're going to leave it there. And next, we're going to click on the ask of, let's say, the $70 put, which currently is trading for $3.40. As soon as I clicked on that, you can see that now both of them are up there at the top as a selected option. I'm selling the 80 while buying the 70. If I was happy with that, those are the exact options I wanted to both buy and sell. I would just come down here to the trade button, and now it's listing out, again, exactly what we're about to do. Right there, it says we're about to put on a put vertical spread. We're selling one of the $80 puts, we're buying one of the $70 puts, and we're doing so for a total credit of $3. Just like before, if you wanted to change a few of these things, let's say instead of selling, one vertical put spread, you instead wanted to sell 3 of them, we can go ahead and bump that up to 3. If you only wanted to sell this credit spread, if we could get $3.50 for it, we could always pop that up to $3.50 and hit done. From there, you can then see that the estimated total, the amount that you would receive, is going to be $1,050 if we could actually sell all 3 of these for $3.50 each. Now, just like before, if you actually wanted to submit this, we would simply hit preview down in the lower right-hand corner. It's going to give us a little order confirmation, just making sure everything looks right. Right there, it's still saying we're about to put on a credit spread for $3.50. And you can see that the estimated total credit is a negative number, and that's just telling us that that is the amount of money you're going to receive. So you're receiving money, not paying money out. If we actually wanted to place this, we'll simply hit send order down below, and there we go. The order confirmation does get pulled up. Now, if we wanted to edit this order ticket in some way, it's going to be the exact same process. Just come down here to the menu button in the lower right-hand corner, then click on the Orders tab. From there, we can then see our open order on the Square put vertical spread right up there at the top. It says it's an open trade, so it has not yet filled. And let's say we wanted to edit that in some way. What I'm going to do is put my finger on there and scroll it to the left again. This time, I'm going to click on Modify because I want to change that price. From there, we can then see the order ticket pull back up. It's just the order ticket that we saw before. And for this one, I'm going to drop down my credit that I'm trying to receive all the way down to the bid so I know I get filled. Now that I've got that filled out, it looks right. I'm going to hit preview, and I'm actually just going to send the order out there. Just like before, it takes us to the confirmation screen. Let's go ahead and exit out of that. And there we go. We can see that it actually has been filled. We actually sold that, and I got filled at $2.90. From there, if I wanted to actually close out this spread, let's say later down the line, I decided to close out this put vertical by buying it back, I could always come back down here to the portfolio button and then select positions up in the upper left-hand corner. From there, you can see all of the positions in this account. I've got positions on Apple, Coin, Microsoft, and Square. But in this example, I wanted to close out the vertical put spread on Square. So what we're going to do is go ahead and click on Square here. From there, it's going to open up our current position. You can see there that I've got -3, or I sold 3 of the 70 by 80 put vertical spreads. Since I just want to close out this spread, we're going to look in the lower left-hand corner and click on that big close button right there. As soon as you click on that, it brings you to an order ticket just like before, except now this is a closing transaction. It's going to put in an order to automatically close out both of those contracts. Right there, you can see that it wants to sell 3 of the $70 puts while simultaneously buying 3 of the $80 puts, which would be a closing transaction. And if we wanted to put in an order to buy back the spread if it ever dropped down to, let's say, $1, we could of course do that. Change it to $1 here and hit done. And I'm going to make this good until canceled, saying if it ever drops down to $1, I'd love to buy it back. Now that I'm happy with that, we'll go ahead and hit preview. We'll get a little order confirmation, just confirming everything looks right, and we'll send the order out there. Now, just to double check on it, I'm going to go back to my order screen by going to menu, going to orders here, and right there we can see my open order to buy back this vertical put spread on Square. And for those of you unfamiliar with spreads, remember I sold this spread to get into it. So to close it out later down the line, I do have to buy it back, and hopefully I want to buy it back for less than what I sold it for. So in my case, I sold these 3 vertical spreads for about $1,000, I believe, and I'm trying to buy them back for only $300 in total. So I'd be profiting $700 if this trade actually fills. But I know that was a lot, and I did go through it pretty quick, but that's just about everything you should need to know to get started trading options yourself in the E-Trade mobile app. I know it can be a bit confusing, especially in the mobile version of this platform, and especially when it comes to options, but with a little bit of practice, I promise you guys will get the hang of it. If I did miss anything in this video, or you guys have any additional questions for me, please leave them down below. But we're gonna go ahead and wrap things up here. I hope you guys all have an amazing rest of your week, and I'll catch you on the next video.